Let's take a look at the most common types of malicious software. First one is computer viruses, which is the most familiar to everybody. These are malicious software that infects a host file or a system area to perform undesirable outcomes. Things like erasing data, corrupting files, or the integrity of the system itself, or of course stealing information. Typical computer viruses multiply again to form new generations of themselves. Worms are viruses that replicate themselves of the network, infecting other machines in the network. So for example, if you actually have a compromised machine, that machine can infect or can compromise other ones in the adjacent network. Mailers and mass mailer worms send themselves in an email message over to the victim. Logic bombs are malicious codes that is injected into a legitimate application. An attacker can program a logic bomb to delete itself from the disk after it's actually performing the malicious task on the system that it was programmed for. So in other words, it's actually a good way of erasing their tracks on a system after actually performs a malicious task. They often corrupt files or databases and execute specific instructions after certain system conditions are met. Trojan horses are malware that execute instructions determined by the nature of the Trojan to delete files, also to steal data, and also to compromise the integrity of the underlying operating system. They typically use a form of social engineering to fool users to install such software in their computers or mobile devices. They can also act as backdoors, which is the next definition that we would like to cover. Backdoors are a piece of malware or configuration change that allows an attacker to control the victim system remotely. For example, a backdoor can open a network port on the affected system so that the attacker can connect and control such system remotely. Now let's go over some other definitions related to actually exploits and downloaders. So first of all, exploits are malicious programs designed to, for the lack of a better word, exploit or take advantage of a single vulnerability or a set of vulnerabilities in a system. And then downloaders is actually a piece of malware that downloads and installs other malicious content from the internet to perform additional exploitation on an affected system. Moving along with some of these definitions, another one is actually spammers. Spammers is actually a way to send unsolicited messages to a victim to fool the user to either click on a malicious link, reply to that email with sensitive information, or perform other types of scams like buying unnecessary stuff from the internet. The attacker's main objective, of course, in this case, is actually to make money. This is one of the most prevalent attack campaigns that have been experienced for many years. Keyloggers are programs that capture the user's keystrokes on a compromised computer or a mobile device. Basically what they do is they collect sensitive information such as passwords, PINs, personally identifiable information, credit card numbers, and a lot more. Rootkits are basically a set of tools that are used by an attacker to be able to elevate the privileges to obtain what we call root level access to be able to completely take over the affected device. Ransomware is another type of malware that compromises a system and then demands a ransom for the victim to often pay the attacker in order for the malicious activity to cease or to stop, and of course, in other cases, for the malware itself to be removed from the affected system. There are a few examples of ransomware. Here I'm explaining two of them that are fairly popular. One is CryptoLocker, and the second one is CryptoWall. These are two very well-known malware that encrypts the victim's data, and basically what the attacker does is actually demands the user to pay a ransom in order for the data to be decrypted and accessible back to the victim. So there are several examples of commercial and also open source antivirus software or free antivirus software. Here are a few, and of course the list is fairly long. I want to actually highlight a couple of them. ClamAV is an open source antivirus engine for detecting Trojan viruses, malware, and other malicious threats. Developed by Cisco, is free to use. This actually came part of an acquisition that Cisco made from a company called SourceFire. Also, there's another free antivirus called Immunet, also developed by Cisco, and is also free on the internet. And basically, I'm here showing a screenshot of the actual site. Not only you can download the antivirus software, but also contribute and become a partner in the open program that they actually have.